Welcome to the TMC Newsroom. My name is Rich Tehrani. Thanks for watching us today. We are at Interop 2012 in Las Vegas, Nevada. On our program is Douglas Louie. Also goes by Doug, and he works for SmithMicor Software. He's the Senior Director of Product Marketing for the Enterprise. And Doug, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rich. Glad to be here.
So we're thrilled to have you back. Quick question. Your company is unbelievable in terms of just the depth of product from the software that controls modems on many of the computers made by the manufacturers that we all know, all the way down to enterprise products and everything in between. And so I figured I'd give you the chance to talk a little bit about that and maybe what you're showing here at the show.
Great. I think one of the big areas for enterprise is in the mobile device management space. Obviously, we've seen the encroachment of the iPhones and the Androids and tablets into the enterprise, and obviously controlling those in the enterprise has been of paramount importance for the enterprises out there. We've taken that product and actually released our own version of it, but taken it a step further, what we're calling the Mobility Command Center, because we think it's more than just lock and wipe on a device. You've got to take into account how these devices are connecting, managing those connection policies for the laptops, for instance, on how they're connecting to 3G networks, Wi-Fi networks, LTE, WiMAX, whatever, as well as mobile hotspots that are coming down now. How are you managing that? And then last, how are enterprises managing the mobile network bandwidth within their companies? You've got thousands of these enterprise devices now, smartphones entering the corporate Wi-Fi bandwidth space. What are you doing to manage that and forcing different policy constraints around that? That's what we're looking at under the mobile command centers, giving IT command and control back over their environment so they're comfortable with these devices from a security, cost perspective, and a total management perspective.
Because we're really in a consumerization of IT space, and bring your own device, whatever kind of trendy term you want to use, IT has lost control, and now the question is, how do they regain control? I mean, another question is, can they regain control? Those are some other questions.
Definitely. I think as IT's realized, if they don't control it, it's very easy for people to find ways to take those iPhones and tablets and get access to the network or get what they need. But luckily with today's MDM solutions and SmithMicor's Command Center, you can easily get that control back because it makes it very easy for users to self-install, self-register a phone or a device, in which case once they do that, the policies from the corporate enterprise are automatically downloaded and installed on those devices. So then both sides are very happy after that, and it makes it easy for everybody to work forward from there.
Now it's a lot easier to manage Android devices because they're far more open than iOS devices. How do you deal with the latter?
Good question. People prefer the Android for the simplicity and the openness of it. However, from a security perspective, the Apple devices are actually been proven to be a little bit more secure. Luckily, the Android and enterprise encryption technologies follow a lot of what we've set up on the MDM side, which are the OMA standards that we use on the Android side. So a lot of that is very similar in how we operate on our device management platform. So we don't really find issues with integrating with the Apple product there at all.
That's good news.
Yeah.
In terms of competitive vendors, I mean, there's a bunch of vendors that are trying to manage mobile devices for enterprises, and how do you see your company playing in that space?
That's great. We look at the device management space purely as a point product for managing the integration of a device into that network, into a corporate enterprise. And there are a ton of players out there, and we think that's great from an MDM perspective, but we think if you look a little bit further out, it's more important to look more broadly. Our product takes that vision and actually extends it to the whole mobility enterprise spectrum. So today you want to integrate those Android and iPhone devices. What are you going to do about mobile hotspots? What are you going to do about your laptop connectivity and policy management for laptop connectivity and driver control? What are you going to do about bandwidth control and whole mobile network control within the enterprise? All these things I think are going to come together to form really the complete broader package that enterprises need to look at going forward. Not just today's devices, but what about the impact of the total enterprise?
It's really a holistic situation is what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Trying to manage the different components, how they play together as a team, I guess, or as a whole. So if you look at the market domestically versus internationally, are we seeing any more adoption of mobile in the U.S. or mobile device management needs in the U.S. versus outside the country?
I think it's pretty even, although it's interesting. I mean, I think mobile pickup overseas was quicker, but the U.S. has quickly caught up now, I think, in terms of, especially with the new Android and iPhone devices, we've actually quickly come up to speed, and with the rollout of the new 4G networks and greater utilization by enterprises of these greater bandwidth speeds to push larger files through, we're seeing the push, rapidly catch up, and I think we're well on our way in the U.S.
Great. What's next?
What's next? I think we're going to see the adoption. I think the early adopters have already jumped in and jumped on a lot of the MDM platforms. I think the rest of the broad enterprise market is being pushed to the edge. I mean, we've seen enough CEOs and boards come down and say, I want my tablet working. The workforce has followed suit. They want it. The solutions are out there. They're easy to implement. I think we're going to see wholesale adoption of these platforms this year because they're so easy to adopt, and it's a win-win for both the enterprise and the user base.
That's great. Well, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you, Rich.